12 years ago, I produced a video called MarsFaker 7 Minutes of Propaganda. It was the second of 2 videos that I produced covering Ralph Renee's conviction that NASA's landings on Mars were faked because parachutes wouldn't have worked in the near vacuum of the Martian atmosphere. The first half of my second video specifically covered photographic anomalies in images from the Phoenix lander. However, it is at this point that I wish to retract the second half of my video and make a public apology to an innocent third party who was unfortunately dragged into all this. The first video in my MarsFaker series specifically covered Renee's argument that parachutes could not have landed the Viking and Pathfinder missions. In response to that first video, certain opponents cited Joe Kittinger's record parachute jump where the air pressure is comparable to the density of Mars's atmosphere. And I regret to say that in the original release of my second MarsFaker, I implied that Kittinger's jump may have been faked or exaggerated. I feel I owe the guy an apology. Contrary to what was implied by the negative feedback I received, the parachute Kittinger deployed at 103,000 feet was merely a drogue chute, not to break his fall, but to stabilize it. In any case, Kittinger's jump was hardly a valid comparison with the Mars parachutes, and that is easy to demonstrate.
Sometimes you have to get up really high. The smaller you are. I'm going home now.
In recent years, Austrian sky jumper Felix Baumgartner broke Kittinger's record when he jumped from a height of 130,000 feet. Both sky jumpers opened their chutes after falling for just over 4 minutes. But the key difference is that Kittinger used a drogue chute almost immediately after jumping. Baumgartner did not. Without the drogue chute, Baumgartner reached speeds up to 844 miles per hour, or some 1,358 kilometers per hour. Kittinger's drogue chute only slowed him down to 614 miles per hour, or just over 988 kilometers per hour. Had Kittinger not used a drogue chute, he'd have fallen as fast as Baumgartner. That's a speed reduction of only 27% in 4 minutes. By comparison, NASA claims the Phoenix parachutes deaccelerated the craft from Mach 1.65, or just over 2,000 kilometers per hour, to 202 kilometers per hour. That's a speed reduction of nearly 90% in 3 minutes. Why even compare Kittinger's jump with a Mars landing? It was a bad example, and I'm sorry to say that I fell for it, at Kittinger's expense. I hereby apologize to my viewers and to Joe Kittinger for even suggesting that his world record jump might have been faked, and I have already taken the appropriate action. I have retracted the original videos containing this unsubstantiated accusation. In my defense, when I produced that original video, I was recuperating from a death in the family. In hindsight, a period of grief and post-traumatic stress was not the ideal time to be producing videos of this nature. Still, the damage was done. As Joe Kittinger is 92 years old at the time of my producing this video, I wish to offer him my sincerest apologies while he is still with us to hopefully accept them. On a happier note, it seems there are new proposals for private Mars missions. Perhaps the most interesting are those proposed by Elon Musk's SpaceX company. Some of these proposals have been cancelled, others are currently under development. But they all have one thing in common. None of SpaceX's Mars missions use parachutes and instead opt for propulsive landings. Musk also states that his Starship has a solar storm shelter, although he hasn't yet revealed what the shelter consists of. But Musk has acknowledged what is required to get to Mars.
We know that people can survive in deep space because the astronauts that went to the moon lived long lives and just none the worse. In terms of shielding against solar radiation, sort of a solar storm, I think sometimes that problem is stated as you need several meters of water to shield yourself, and then somebody does calculation for the volume of the sphere, and that ends up being some enormous quantity of water. But you don't need to have that. You can just have a column of water pointed at the sun and make sure that you're mostly in front of that column.
Something learning a lot about solar winds and
fast particles and whatnot. One of the things I learned recently that I didn't quite understand is that I always thought of the particles from the sun, the sort of solar wind, as going kind of straight up from the sun, but they follow the magnetic field lines. So you actually can get the particles coming at you from the side, even though kind of at a direction orthogonal to the sun. So you do need some amount of protection, at least on kind of four or five sides.
It's almost as though Elon Musk's Moon and Mars proposals were a direct response to the criticisms of Ralph Renee and Bill Kaysing. It's almost as though he read their books.
Fundamental thing.